Good morning and welcome everyone. I see the attendees joining slowly. People are entering this webinar. My name is Zhenya Antoshen. I'm the project director of Poultry Africa event. Thank you for joining us today for the first Food Security for Nigeria webinar that is organized by Poultry Africa and VIV Worldwide. We have a beautiful program lined up for you today with a lineup of excellent speakers on the food security topic from different perspectives. Without further delay, I would like to introduce you and to give the first word of welcome to Mr. Brian Udo, who is Agricultural Policy Advisor for the Embassy of the Netherlands in Nigeria. Brian, would you like to start, please?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to extend a warm welcome to you all and thank you for taking the time to attend this event on poultry and food security. My name is Brian Christopher Udo, the Agricultural Policy Advisor of the Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lagos. It's my hope that in this webinar, the attendees are friends from various aspects of the poultry industry, which would include the government, private sector, and knowledge institutes, and a couple of others, in something that in a term that the Dutch call the Dutch Diamond, which is a collaboration of several stakeholders acting together to achieve common purposes and similar goals. The Dutch government is committed to supporting Nigeria in diversifying its economic agenda into agriculture. Some of the recent cooperations of the Dutch government has been in the seed sector development, the dairy sector, the agro-export sector, and the agro-education. And currently, we're now planning a program in the horticultural sector. The Nigerian private sector, especially the poultry sector, has shown great resilience, commitment, and innovation in the transformation of the value chain to become economically sustainable amidst external and internal difficulties. In 2020, the Dutch government, through the Netherlands Enterprise Organization, published a study on the poultry sector with the aims of having deeper insight into Nigeria poultry industry to understand better the needs of both private and public sector. With the ever-growing population and the expanding middle class, the changing rural economy, demands for meat is sure to increase over the years. Nigeria's poultry industry was reported to contribute about 25% to the agricultural GDP, and growing consumption per capita, reaching about 1.9 kilograms per capita against 2.2 found as the average of sub-Saharan Africa. Though this is a shortfall of the global average of 13.93% in 2018, which presents an opportunity for a deeper and stronger collaboration to reach these aims, which are often connected to food security outcomes. It's a general call for action by all. The report also generally projected the demand to grow rapidly with the growing population of the Nigerian people. Of course, this is no news that we now have a population that will grow to reach around 400 million by the year 2050. And that's a significant amount. So we also see that eggs and meat production may reach 1 million metric tons and 5 million metric tons by 2030. These statistics indicate a great opportunity for the Nigerian poultry industry to catch up and to act and advance their productivity to match these growing demands. We know that this cannot be done alone, and that's why VIV is here, and attracting several collaborators internationally to engage with the Nigerian industry. The Netherlands has had a long history of in the poultry industry, becoming a leading exporter of meat and eggs globally, and a contributor to poultry trade globally. They've also acted severally in the development of the poultry industry in several sub-Saharan countries. In Nigeria, historically known brands like Henry Genetics have contributed in development of ISA, which as a Nigerian I've come to know. The Dutch poultry sector contributes to the Nigeria, has contributed to the Nigerian sector in different aspects of the value chains, where it be parent stocks, housing, holding systems, veterinary, and nutrition, additives, name them. They're quite active in several of these sectors. And Nigeria Nigeria can continue to leverage on these corporations and the cooperation of other international business and institutions to continue to advance the industry ambition to become more efficient, more resilient, and sustainable, especially in these COVID times. In many aspects of the Nigerian poultry, the Nigerian poultry industry can compare with the Netherlands in terms of starters and growers feeds, food conversion ratios for broilers, and so on. But it trails the Netherlands in several other areas like conversion ratios for layers and also pricing. So that provides, which means that the Nigeria's end products are much more expensive, but also provides an opportunity for other types of partnerships that can help to bring pricing down and at the other end improve accessibility to these poultry products, which can help improve food security at both peri-urban and rural environments. Hence, the Dutch government is committed to working with Nigerian stakeholders to develop the poultry private sector towards reaching the aspirations and potentials that is eminent and available and available. And this has become very urgent against the backdrop of the social and political issues that are existing in today's Nigeria. Secular approaches to production is a key promotion of the Dutch Ministry of Agriculture, and we encourage private sector to embed this within its own thinking and within its own strategic plans to continue to consider environmental and other social aspects of human existence within the country, such that, of course, having a better world and a more environmentally friendly world through great production approaches can really bring a win-win situation to all. We also call for stronger partnerships and using public-private partnership tools to achieve all these kinds of secular agricultural mandates, food security outcomes, better food security outcomes, and also addressing key sustainable development goals like SDG 1, 2, 17, 8, and so on. I would like to end by calling for a more collaborative support of all actors, private sector, government, civil society organization, and Knowledge Institute to advancing the poultry industry, because it is a critical industry to providing one of the that can provide the protein needs of a growing population like Nigeria, and we do see that that's possible given the potential that Nigeria does have to be able to achieve this. And VERV, which is an organization very well known globally and active globally in bringing stakeholders together, in matching actors' needs to global demands and innovation. Their interest in Africa and their interest specifically to engage with Nigeria is an important signal that Nigeria agriculture industry has contributed and put sufficient amount of effort and has shown great potential to really catch up with the global poultry industry. So that said, I would like to once again thank you for being here, and also thank the organizers of this program. And I wish you all a great and fruitful deliberation in discussing this very all-important topic of food security and the contribution poultry can indeed bring. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian, for this introduction and your first words. Allow me then also to introduce you to our host and moderator for today's program. It's the chairman of the World Poultry Science Association, Dr. Roel Mulder. Yes, Roel.
I'm there. Okay, thank you, Senor. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Roel Mulder, as already introduced. I'm from the World Poultry Science Association, and our association is a strong supporter of Poultry Africa and many other events organized around the world by the VNU organization. Today we have a program with two main speakers, and three pitches. That means that we, in the next hour or so, we will have 5 contributions. And not to talk too long, the first speaker is Dr. Ananda Raj. I hope I pronounce it correctly. And he is working at the CHI farms in Nigeria. He has in Lagos. He has a very long experience in all aspects of poultry production, from production, processing to nutrition and quality assurance. Well, that's most of the time that will say that his background is from a veterinary medicine type. He is from the, I think, Tamil Nadu University in India. I think, Mr. Raj, you have the floor now.
Good morning, Roy. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be part of this event. I'm Dr. Ananda Raj, Chief Farms Limited in Nigeria. Today, I'm going to discuss very shortly about Nigerian poultry industry, what are all the opportunities and the challenges in Nigeria and poultry sector. Nigeria is one of the country with increase in population. As of 2019, it is 201 million. It will be doubled is expected to double in 400 million in 2050. Nigeria is listed as one of the top 10 countries where the world population will be much concentrated, and especially close to 43% of youth populations. So this population growth, that is also rural to urban drift, and increasing the middle class economy, means converting poor economy to middle class economy, which increase in demand for meat, especially chicken and eggs. In Nigeria, agriculture is the major economic activity with 35% GDP. In that agriculture, the poultry subsector, which contributing 25% of agriculture GDP. So government of Nigeria is giving more attention to agriculture development for the two reasons. The one is they want to reduce the national import bill and their source, and another one is source of foreign currency by exports. And very interestingly, Nigeria is one of the country in Africa set to grow its poultry sector at the rate of 6 to 10% year on year. That's as per Robobank 2017 report. So every year growth is approximately 10% for the 2015 to 25. How is the poultry sector in Nigeria? So it is the most potential country for poultry development in entire Africa because of increase in population, and very importantly, import ban of chicken and the local demand, and also the government focus or government incentive schemes. Since 2003, the chicken import is banned in Nigeria. Poultry industry in Nigeria considered the most organized industry among all animal production sector. Like our Brian mentioned, this is one of the major animal protein source to the people of Nigeria. As per our Central Bank of Nigeria, July 2020 report, it is estimating the value of the poultry industry is around 1.35 trillion, which is contributing 25% of agriculture GDP, that is 7 to 8% of country's GDP. And very interestingly, as per USDA 2013, Nigeria is number 1 in egg production in Africa and number 4 in frozen chicken production as per 2013. And so approximately the total bed stock in the country, including all the broiler layer, it is around 185 million, which is producing 480,000 metric tons of meat and close to 14.5 billion eggs per annum. That is the Poultry Association of Nigeria's estimates. The per capita consumption of chicken is still very low. It's considered as 2.5 kilo in Nigeria and also 65 eggs. Even though the consumption is low consumption, still there is a very serious supply deficit between the country, between the regions. What are the levels of poultry business operation in Nigeria? Nigeria, we have 3 tiers of poultry operations. One is the GP operations, both for meat line breed and egg line breed. There is a GP of Arbreaker from Aviagen and GP of ESA from Hendrix Genetics is available. So then the second level is the PS operations for both the meat line and the egg line, and the commercial operations, which will DOC selling to the farmers, which will produce meat and egg. These 3 types of operations are available existing in Nigeria. Coming to what are the incentive, what are the attractive for the poultry farming in Nigeria? Number 1 is a gap. There is a demand gap for poultry meat and egg in the country. Still, it is existing. So currently the part of the gap is filled by smuggled chicken through porous borders. Number 2 is the ban. In response to that, the federal government of Nigeria has banned the frozen chicken import since 2003, and still it is existing, and they are extending every 10-year ban. The federal government through CBN provides a lot of facilities, loans for these agricultural facilities like a CAX, NIRSAL, Anchor Borrower Scheme, like so many loans and facilities provided by the federal bank through CBN. There is a friendly environment or government policies to support these agricultural activities, especially the poultry activities, like full capital allowance utilization is allowed and VAT exempt for the poultry products, and the duty free for poultry or agri machineries as per the government regulations. Then recent land border closure, especially after the corona, during the corona, the border closure is very tight. That is also curbing the smuggling activities. These are the incentives for the poultry farming in Nigeria. What are the opportunities in poultry sector? Since there is a demand for the poultry products, the market is growing rapidly to increase the because of increasing the population and also increasing the average income of the people. So there is a lot of opportunity for the production of both meat and egg. There is new investments and foreign investments are coming. They are in pipeline. Some of them are started, which is providing the latest technologies and expertise. And another area where there is more opportunity is input services. There is lack of input services, so there is an opportunity for the input services like feed additives, drugs, equipments. So which will bring the competitive prices for the farmers. Then number 4, there is no feed quality standard and standard feed testing laboratory except 1 or 2, which is also very costlier. So there is an opportunity for setting up the feed testing laboratory. There is a possibility and there is an opportunity in the country. And very importantly, there is no established training institute or poultry school or poultry colleges. Industry-linked practical approach is very less. Only I can name it 2-3 institutes, which is not sufficient to provide the technical knowledge to the people in the industry. So there is an opportunity for the training institute to set up in the country. These are all the opportunities in poultry sectors. What are the challenges in poultry sector? Challenges in poultry sector, there is a high cost of input, There is a poor infrastructure. There's a disease outbreak. There is smuggling activities and insecurity in the farming activities, inadequate technical expertise, lack of R&D, high cost or lack of finance, and inadequate storage facilities. If you are going in one by one, there is high cost of production because the feed cost and other raw material costs, input costs are higher when compared to the global market. So the performance is also higher, which is leading to the high cost of production in the country. And the raw material availability and the cost, especially maize and soya is scarce in the country, and also the cost is high because there is a mismatch between the production and the requirement. And secondly, there is a challenge of forex availability to import from outside. So there is this is leading to a raw material scarce and increasing the cost of raw materials, which in turn increasing the feed cost. And technically, there is no defined quality standards for inputs or for hatcheries, for DOCs, for feed additives, vaccine and medicines, and all other inputs. There is no defined quality standards existing in the country. The next one is smuggling of frozen chicken. Even though the country is banned for chicken import, there is a lot of smuggling of frozen chicken through porous border. And the next one is there is an insecurity of some areas which is affecting the farming activities. And the other challenges, we have poor technical knowledge of farmers. Like what I mentioned, there is no much poultry institutes. There is poor technical knowledge of farm managers and poor infrastructure and lack of knowledge of innovation and lack of expertise. These are the present challenges in the poultry sector in Nigeria presently. If you go through the existing farms, even we have two types of farms existing in the country. One is open-sided houses, another was one is environmentally controlled houses. I can say the major farms are open-sided houses. And some of the new companies, the foreign investors, those are already in the business, they are coming with the closed-side houses. Now it is started coming up slowly. If you go to the operations of both, this open-side houses is cheaper than closed house sizes, but there is no control of environment like temperature and humidity, wind velocity, all this one, which is causing high FCR, higher rearing period, and high mortality, and very importantly, less number of cycles and density. Whereas the closed houses, now the people are started building and they have started understanding the benefit of the closed houses, which is even though more expensive in the initial period, but the environmentally is controlled for temperature, humidity, and which have higher stock density, number of cycles are more, FCR is less, rearing period is less, and mortality is less, which will cost more benefit than the open side houses. For the last 5 years, we are seeing a lot of houses are converted into closed houses or semi-closed houses. Like the same layer also, from the deep litter, now they're shifted to cages, battery cages. This shifting we are seeing. This shifting is faster than broiler closed houses we are noticing in the country. So if somebody is want to start the poultry industry in Nigeria, which one they can select, either meat or egg or broiler or layer. So when we do a comparison, the broiler farming is lower initial cost startup, short turnover, and is real for few weeks. So there is it's not staying long in the farm. So there is a chance of disease exposure is less. Even if it is a loss, we can recover faster. But the feed consumption and cost of feed is high and compared to layer. Very importantly, where the farmers or the small companies are lagging is the cold store and blast freezer. because of that one, the investments are very high. So we cannot store chicken meat more than hours without cold room facility. So broiler operations have shorter payback time, but brings lower revenue and margin long term. Whereas in layer, with more time, layers farming is a large scale setup, which is giving more revenue than broilers, because after the legs, there is a very serious, huge demand of spent birds in the country. Even sometimes spent birds are sold higher than the broiler chicken because Nigerians prefer tough meat, brown eggs, and especially the spent birds are more demandable than the broiler frozen chicken. So that is also one advantage. And very importantly, I want to mention one important point. This is the only country, 100% of the eggs they can sell at the farm gate. There is no need of any supply network. All the farms they are selling, mostly 95% of the eggs are sold at the farm gate at the advance payment. That is one of the advantages of layer farms or commercial layer farms. Now coming to the topic of COVID, we have some advantages we are experiencing during the COVID period. Even though there is a lot of disadvantages, as a poultry man, we had some advantages. There's a lot of opportunities for virtual training from our all international partners. We can connect globally with everyone, not like before. And there is a diversity of working from home and thereby reducing the congestion at workplace. We noticed that one in the country, especially the places like Lagos, Ibadan, all the places. There is a reduction in traffic holdup or congestion. Roads were free of usual traffic. We were able to discover the importance of having our meetings virtually and achieving close to the same result at physical meeting. Because of usual, we are doing continuously, we are able to achieve close to the same result. And very, very importantly, we are forced to use local raw material because of unavailability of imported items. So which is caused some period of sustainability or non-dependence. Since we are not able to import some of the items, we were able to search the local available items to replace or alternative ways. And we felt the importance of our work and the poultry industry importance because it is categorized as an essential service in the country. So all our staffs, farmers, they felt very important. Okay, even though it is everything is locked down, the poultry people are they allowed to work as essential service. And lastly, spending time with the family, at the same time able to complete our task. That's also a different, excellent experience we faced during this COVID period in Nigeria.
Dr. Raj, can you?
Yeah, that's lastly. So this is the last one. Disadvantage of COVID period. There's reduction in the inflow of forex in the country, shortage of some poultry inputs like vaccine, premix, drugs, and others. At the beginning, there was a difficulty of moving poultry materials, then later is relaxed. Non-availability of forex has negative impact in our ability to import some items. Always difficult, some discomfort in moving with the people. So availability of material is not easy and also with the high price and also economic impact. What like Mr. Brian mentioned, there is even with all the challenges, there's a lot of opportunities existing in the Nigeria to start the poultry business. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Raj, for your contribution. And also, sorry, I had to interrupt and ask you to speed up a little bit. Well, I forgot to mention in the beginning that question and answers could be forwarded under the question and answers button. So for the moment, I would say I have to wait for questions for you, but still I have one. And we can continue that later. For the other questions coming, you mentioned in one of your slides at the beginning that you have a lot of, let's say, a lack of training facilities, opportunities, and that there are initiatives and so on from industry to start this. Then you mentioned that it is very good to have this virtual, let's say, practical workings from the industry during the COVID period. But I'm wondering, what is your company doing, let's say, especially for training and, well, to have
Yes,
enthusiastic employers for the future?
actually, we are training for our employees and for our associates or customers. But the training institutes are, we have a poultry school, Chi Poultry Institute, Chi Aqua Institute. Like what I mentioned, the number of institutes are very less in the country, namely one or two, like Chi Animal Care, like one or two institute, which is not able to cover the entire industry. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, on this moment, I do not see other questions coming to you. If there are coming, I will forward to them, and then we hopefully have time to respond. Thank you again for your contribution, and we will continue with the next speaker, which is Mrs. Nicoletta Fay. Because the speaker on the program we could not localize for the moment, so maybe during the session it will come forward. So we continue with Nicoletta, and well, Nicoletta, to introduce her, is the Africa area sales manager for a company Babolna Tetra from Hungary, and well, everyone knows the name. It's a world one of the leading layer breeding companies. And well, it's already over 50 years existing. She has also a lot of experience in the African market. And well, I think she will tell us now, let's say in short, her experience in market development or other things concerned for Tetra. You will have the floor.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to share our experiences in this very nice event to everybody who is interested in. I prepared a short presentation to make it more visual. Let me share it with you. I hope that my presentation is accessible to everybody. Okay, I'm representing the company Babolna Tetra, which is located in Hungary, and as it has been told, we are involved in the poultry breeding, especially in the layer breeding. And now I would like to share with you our experiences regarding the challenges we had to face during the COVID times, especially on African markets. Yeah, I just want to tell you some words about our company, but I think that it is quite well known worldwide because we have been working in the layer breeding industry for more than 50 years, as Roel mentioned it as well. We are located in Hungary with many different facilities which are all needed for a high quality genetic research activity. Here you can see some of our facilities on the pictures, like our hatchery, laboratories, breeding research center, and pilot test farms as well. We have two main product lines. We are famous for our industrial layers with different feather colors and eggshell colors, which are spread worldwide. And then we have also another product line, the so-called meat and dual-purpose hybrids, which are very suitable for African markets, especially for the family poultry farming, for the backyard also amid African conditions. Now, I would like to sum up what is very important if we are speaking about sale of live chicks. We are selling our chicks worldwide, but in Europe our situation is easier because we can have everything under our own control. Of course, our farms, breeding flocks, laboratory and hatchery is controlled by us, so we have a very good overview on our chicks quality. But in addition to all that, we have also our own transport company, so we can deliver the day-old chicks to our customers with specialized vehicles, so we can guarantee that the chicks arrived in a good, impeccable condition to the destination farm. But as our company used to sell its chicks worldwide, also to another continent, we have some challenges regarding the transportation because from the airport we have to hand over our chicks to the airlines, and so we don't have the control anymore on the quality of the transportation. And it can be sometimes quite risky because of the COVID challenges. We had some difficulties, especially in logistics, which was quite obvious from the first moment on. And then in short and medium terms, we had to face also some market changements. And all these led to the increased risk of disruption of food supply chains. And this is what is very threatening from point of view of the nutrition, especially in African countries where we can see a very high population and sometimes very limited access to nutrition. What do we need for a good quality live chick transport? Here you are the key points. Very important points are the duration of the transportation, the animal health standards which has to be respected, the different delivery conditions like temperature, ventilation. We have to adjust the shipment to local administration procedures, and then after arrival to the destination airport, we still have to have a very well organized road transport to the farm, and we also hope that during the housing everything will going on without any complications. After all that, you will have here a list of the challenges caused by COVID-19, and you can see that all the points that I mentioned before have been threatened by the negative impact of the pandemic, which means that due to the limited flight availabilities, we had to count with longer itineraries, and instead of direct flight options, our chicks were delivered by connecting flights. And we know that due to the flight transfers, the risk will increase also regarding the delivery conditions, because there will be more points where the requested delivery conditions have to be respected. So we are very much exposed to the ground handling staffs, to the air crew, to the storage facilities of the airports, and the risk of human error is increased. Animal health standards have been also tightened in different markets, partially because of the fear from COVID-19 contaminations. And of course, we had to adapt ourselves to these tightened standards. But we did our best. Sometimes it caused anyway delays in shipment preparation or even at the destination airport during inspection. Local administration procedures slowed down, and it is also a very crucial point if day-old chicks arrive to the destination airport, and this is at the end of long itinerary, and you still have to wait for a slowed down administration procedure. It can harm a lot to the chicks, and it can even cause higher mortality if we are speaking about an important delay. And after leaving the airport, there were still road closures, for example, in many countries. So it was also quite challenging to transport the chicks from the airport to the farm. And some of our customers complained even about availability problems of farm staff for the housing due to the lockdown. You can see that there were many risks during the shipment of day-old chicks. So we had to adapt to very difficult conditions to ensure good quality chicks at the destination farm. Of course, we tried to do our best to give a response to this increased risk. In addition to our usual efforts in our hatchery and during the shipment and customer service, we improved the just-in-time hatching according to flight schedule to minimize the loss of time during the shipment. We made a more rigorous selection of good quality chicks in the hatchery because during these long itineraries we need very high quality chicks which can resist to any of the challenges which may occur during the shipment. Of course, in our premises, we implemented plenty of security measures like different kind of disinfection methods and the use of protective clothing. And from the customer service side, we implemented the 24-hour phone emergency contact to assist shipments because we had to face more often problems or complications during shipments. The poultry value chain is a very fragile system. This is a well-known fact for all of us, involving many actors on different levels. If there is any complication on any level, of course, this will have consequences on different levels as well. That is what we saw due to the COVID-19. COVID-19 had, of course, a very negative impact on poultry market worldwide, but especially in Africa, which is a very fragile market. We can see that the majority of poultry products is consumed in hotels and restaurants in the big cities because for a big part of the population, poultry products are still luxurious items, luxurious nutrition. And with the closing of hotels and restaurants, the demand for poultry products dropped significantly. And the consumption pattern of the population changed also dramatically. They have to focus on more simple nutrition. The drop of poultry production consumption led, of course, to difficulties on production sites because stocks couldn't be sold, neither sold nor stored. And because of the movement controls, there were many difficulties also in supply of essential.
Nicolette, can you sum up?
Yes. And at the end of all, breeder farms were forced to cancel or to delay the renewal of their breeding flocks. And you can see here that it will lead, or it has already led to shortage on the market, which will have as consequence price increase. We try to tighten the cooperation with our distributors on African markets for better understanding their problems, and we implemented a cooperation package in African markets to maintain the continuity of local production. I think with very good results. And as the current event as well, we intensified the transfer of knowledge through webinars and online consultants. And we think that after COVID-19 times, we will have another poultry industry in Africa as well, because the importance of local production has been increased. Self-sufficiency became very important for each country, and for the family poultry farming, which can secure the livelihood of many families, another hybrids were needed. This will play a key role in poverty alleviation as well. More resistant birds are required as well, because we will have to adapt to changing conditions due to the volatility of this market. So thank you very much for your attention. And in case of any questions, I will be at the disposal of the attendees. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nicolette, for your contribution. And for sure, I think there will be some questions, but for my clarification, if you speak on small poultry farms in your last slide, I think it was, what is your definition of a family poultry, let's say farming, the size? What would you say the size? Just because as the World Poultry Science Association has an enormous interest in family poultry farming business, and well, we always discuss these things. So what is your definition of it?
The definition is not especially based on the number of chicks which are around the house, but of course we are speaking about smaller quantities for 5 to 50, 100 chicks. But especially in Africa, where poultry industry is not so developed in many markets, the family poultry farming represents the majority of the poultry population. And here hybrids are needed, which can adapt well to these local conditions of farming around the house with lack of high quality feed and exposure to climatical conditions. And this is what we would like to support with some of our hybrids, which are adapted to this use.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you again for your presentation. If there are coming questions, I will ask you to answer them. In the meantime, I got one question which is related to feed quality, and I would like to read that after the next presentation, because that also is on feed quality, and then we see whether Dr. Raj or Dr. Ikaloa will answer this question. So for now, I would like to continue with the presentation of Dr. Odion Ikaloa. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And well, he is a veterinarian working for Trout Nutrition in Nigeria. His let's say, specialization is poultry health and nutrition. well, he's a very experienced organizer of webinars, so well, always interested to learn what he thinks of ours. But I will now give him the floor for the next, well, 10 minutes.
Good morning again. Trial Nutrition in Nigeria is a nutrition company, and when we came into Nigeria, we discovered that we have a lot of issue in the country. The issue of having good quality feed. You agree with me that 70 to 75% of the input for poultry comes from feed. And if you have good quality chicks and we don't have corresponding good quality feed, everything it won't work well. So for us in trial nutrition, what we try to do is to provide good quality feed that the farmer will not have issue with. And before we came in Nigeria, we discovered that we have a lot of people that are into feed for the business of making feed. But when we came in, what we want to do, give to farmers, is to give them quality feed that will give them that way to sustain the industry. For instance, in the broiler industry, we have all the ranges of feed from the pre-starter or chick smash to broiler starter, grower to the finisher. And for us as a company, we do things to standard. And if you know Nigeria very well, anything goes. But for us as trial nutrition, we try to comply to international standard to ensure that the feed and concentrate that come out from us, they are good quality, that can deliver and give the right performance. So when we came in, for instance, we are into concentrates and also into finished feed. What we try to do is to partner with farmers, especially the corporate ones and some other local ones, to ensure that they get good quality feed. Because if they don't have good quality feed, all the plans of the farm will not work well. So in our factory, we have a lab where we analyze all our raw materials before we process them. And this ensures that everything is up to standard. We analyze the soya, we analyze the maize to ensure that they are of good quality, because if you use substandard raw material, then you have substandard feed. So we ensure that one is done. Then having done that, everything was going on well. Apart from providing feed, we also provide technical services to our farmer to ensure that they comply to all the right management practice. Because if you give a farmer a good quality feed with bad management practice, they won't be able to achieve a good result. So we ensure that apart from giving them the feed and the concentrate, we monitor them, give them the right advice or the technical advice to ensure that everything is done correctly, so that they have a good everything well. All these have been going on well. Then, of course, COVID periods, we have a lot of challenges, especially when in African country, when you have lockdown. Lockdown means there's no movement is restricted. And when movement is restricted, it affects the logistics. It also affects even moving the feed to the farms. Now, during the lockdown period, we have a lot of issue from especially the logistics. So we have to make additional arrangements for the when you have lockdown in some cities, we have blockages on the road. So we have to ensure that if drivers that are taking fees to long distance, they live on time, give them special permits to pass on some restricted area. Then also during the lockdown period, we have because most of our raw material comes from the north, which is far from where we are. There was a lot of challenge on getting our raw material from the source to the factory. And this one also resulted in increase in the prices. And when you have increase in price of the raw material, of course, that is reflected in the final product of the feed. So during the lockdown period, we have a lot of challenges getting the raw material, and this one also affected was forced to reduce their stock, and we also have issue with some farmers not being able to get their workers because of the lockdown. They are not able to get the workers to get to the farm on time. So these are some of the effects we had during the lockdown period. Now, for us in Africa, we in some sector, we like the human health sector, we have what we call essential service. But for us in agri, that was not available. So we have some farmers not able to get their feed across the farm. Some farms during that period of a peak of lockdown, they were not able to get feed to the farm, and they have to shut down some farms and dispose of their birds, which wasn't quite okay. Then, of course, as we don't have a good, if as a way of stopping something like this, in a developed or organized society, there should be agriculture or poultry should be placed on essential service where we should be allowed to move, because if the farmer don't get feed on time, and it will affect the whole lot of investment on the farm. So maybe we want to encourage government to ensure that farmers, they are allowed to pass their goods during this period of lockdown. So there was a lot of issue. And also in terms of marketing, because of the lockdown, farmers were not able to sell their product, because in Africa, we have what we call open markets where they take all their goods to. But of course, during the lockdown, we have to develop a system where we have online store where the farmer can open up, display his goods online, and people can see it and make a demand and make requests. So during the lockdown periods, we have a lot of issues. Farmers were not able to dispose of their eggs and meats, and it was a lot of issues. But immediately, some farmers were able to develop a system to advertise online and get customers across to buy. And also during the lockdown period, so many issues that we didn't know that we were not visible, but because of the lockdown, it emphasized them. So we want to encourage maybe our Nigerian farmers in Nigeria to ensure that they use good quality feed, so that they will avoid a lot of to maximize profits. If you have the history of Nigeria, we discover that we have a lot of people that go into the business of feed, but they don't really have the interest of the farmer at heart. All they want to do is to make profit. But for us in Trout Nutrition, we ensure that they get good quality feed that can deliver and perform and give them the right results. I think for us, it was challenging, but everything is getting better now, and we hope to have better production even as the situation return back to normal. So that is that from us from Trout Nutrition. Thank you so very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ikeoloa. Well, I have two questions, and I think I will read them now, and whether Dr. Ikeoloa or Dr. Raj will answer that to them. The first one is, how do one get or formulate a high quality feed for broiler poultry farming? So, well, one of you can answer this for sure.
Okay. All right. For us, we are farmers friendly, and we already have a format for our farmers. Those that want to follow our format, for broiler, if you want to go for the finished feed, we have a range of products from pre-starter, which is for the first 1 week, then followed by the starter by the second week, then followed by the grower as the third week, then followed by the broiler finisher at the fourth week. Now we already have a formulation. We have a finished feed for that. So if anybody want to make purchase can get across to us. That is for the finished feed. Then we also have concentrate, and in the concentrate we have the broiler starter concentrate and the broiler finisher concentrate. And whoever wants good quality feeds can get across to us. We'll be glad to help anybody out. But these are formats. This is the trial nutrition format. If you want to go for the finished feed, it's available. If you want to go for the concentrate, it's available. Then if you go for the concentrate, we give you a formulation. If you are using our concentrate, we have the 5% concentrate. We can also, if you make a request for higher concentrate like 25, we can also give it to you. And once we give you the concentrate, we also give you the formulation, what we do. If possible, sometimes those that are close to our factory, we help them to analyze their raw material to ensure that they are using a wholesome raw material. Because if you give it the best concentrate and you use poor quality raw material, you will not get good results. So in trial nutrition, we partner with farmers to ensure that they do the right thing. We also provide customer service and other professional service to ensure that they do the right thing.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Raj, you can add something to it, or is it your same answer?
Yes. I'm same with him. But the only thing I want to add is, we don't want to recommend a small farmer to go for his own feed in Nigeria because of availability of feedstuffs, feed additives, and the quality and the consistency is not even. So I will recommend to consult with the nutritionist or the universities or the feed millers. They can help them for formulating the feed, because the poultry feed is one of the area which is well developed and well advanced. Thank you.
Okay, well, I have one more question, but I think I will do it after we have given the next speaker opportunity to give his presentation. And then we come back to one of the questions which came to us through Facebook. Well, the next speaker is Marco de Bruin. Marco de Bruin is the industry sales manager for poultry, of Marel Poultry. He is in the Netherlands, and he is an industrial engineer, as he stated an hour ago to me. And he is responsible for all poultry processing solutions within Marel in the sub-Saharan region, as I see it. Well, probably also in other parts, but here that is his specialization on the moment. Marco, you're the floor.
Yes, good morning, everybody here from the Netherlands, and welcome. Yes, thank you for the introduction. Let's start with a small introduction of Marel for whom do not know us. Marel is a global leader in transforming the way food is processed, and we support the production of high quality, safe and affordable food by providing software services, systems and solutions to the fish, meat and poultry processing industries. And I'm for Marel responsible for the poultry processing part within sub-Saharan Africa. I think from the past, many know us more with the name of Stork. Stork has been blended into Marel starting of 2008. And now we are with around 7,000 people over 30 countries. So we're always close to our customers to support, and we try to support them from the first inspiration to implementing a solution. Then the topic I would like to address today is the challenges and opportunities of industrialized poultry processing. Looking at the challenges we have connected to COVID, we are at this moment working on some projects in Nigeria, and we mainly had some practical challenges. Mainly in the start, we had some logistical issues with getting the equipment in. That all has been solved, but still there are some challenges for our customers, but also for us. Yeah, getting the people in. We do a lot now worldwide, with giving our customers, let's say, remote support. But hopefully within, let's say, vaccinations coming up, that also it is in the near future. It's also possible to get to our customers more. But and we also have local people to support. What I now would like to touch is from a report PWC made within the industry in Nigeria, what was responding to the impact of COVID-19 on food security and agriculture in Nigeria. They gave 8 recommendations of post-COVID, which I would like to touch on. And 4 of these 8 recommendations have a link to what our company can support in either direct or indirectly. So one of them, these recommendations was to revolutionize agricultural mechanization. Yeah, that is of course close to what we as a company and my topic can support in. Another thing they had as a recommendation is reintroduction of farming clusters, financed through public-private partnership, an increased investment in research and development aimed at improving yields in the industry, and integration into for the agro, let's say, into the value chain. To get a little history on this, on these recommendations through the Netherlands and also our company. In the Netherlands, also these farming clusters helped also to revolutionize the agriculture, and also our company Stork started in this period when farmers came together to let's say get more get the processing of poultry, get it to see if that can be done more efficiently. That's when Stork started to support farmers to mechanize this. So we came from this let's say history. And but before I go into the mechanized processing, I would like to zoom out a little bit at the value chain and the opportunities and challenges we see. I believe for good business, for the processing business, everything needs to be in balance, from parent stock, hatchery, supply of day-old chicks, to feed supply, farming, processing, logistics, cold chains, and also the sales channels. What I believe is that the processing plant can be part of the solution, and the balancing act to overcome also the imbalance between supply and demand. You see that also in many industry, many parts of the industry now, that the COVID has shown this in market, that there was an imbalance, and sometimes you see that also in Europe. We saw it as well, that all these cold storages were full because of seeking to this this balance. Yeah, looking at the poultry value chain, which we are part of the puzzle, supplying the equipment for the processing plant. We see within Sub-Saharan Africa many demand for small integrations with the opportunity to be competitive within this whole value chain, to limit costs, to increase yield, to optimize logistics, balance input and output, and sometimes also to combine the broiler and the layer business. But there are of course some challenges we see. This topic has been touched already today a couple times. That is the knowledge of within the industry, and the knowledge of the people to set up such a value chain and to operate the value chain. And of course the high investment level, the capital expenditure of setting up such a value chain. If you then look to the recommendations from the report, can these things support in these challenges? Can farming clusters support these challenges in combination with a knowledge center? Can government programs with education support it? And can financial support also from countries like the Netherlands support in these high investments like the FMO, for example? Then other things what we see if you look at the value chains, it's more like a question with half an answer. What you see in Nigeria is 50% of the population is rural and 50% of the population is urban. Is there a difference in setting up value chains within the rural let's say areas or the urban areas? If you look at Western Europe, you can see it almost as one urban area where you see big centralized solutions. But looking at Nigeria, it could be that, for example, in more the rural areas, the bigger centralized vertical integrations can be a solution. But what about urban? Maybe there it's looking at countries like Nigeria, where the cold chain is not always and the distances are far. Maybe it's you see a more decentralized, smaller vertical integrated plants around the country. Then go into what I also would like to touch before I go into more detail about mechanized production is the products to produce. What we have experienced in other markets is also to add value to the products, and processing can be one of the solutions for it. We see a growing demand in value-added products, like what has been touched before, the smuggling of, for example, the whole birds, frozen birds. How can you differentiate? What we see also in other countries is much more value added by doing the cut up and deboning already. And also the upcoming of the quick service restaurants, where you can see that value is added to the product, like the KFC-like products, for example, with some breading on top of poultry products. But also an example I see, for example, in Southeast Asia, where you see also there has been a lot of local quick service restaurants which come with very meals which are targeted directly to the let's say their audience. And what they, for example, do is using cut up birds, like cutting up birds in 8 or 10 parts, and doing then locally in their restaurants doing the breading. So they sell, for example, meals with rice and some vegetables and a drumstick, which is for KFC-like drumstick, having a $1 meal in this local restaurant, where you have this, very much value added to the poultry product, which makes it an interesting meal for let's say the upcoming middle class to go to these kinds of restaurants. And also there might be an opportunity to go more to fresh products, but that's of course limited within the logistics you can cover. But with fresh products, you can clearly differentiate in quality and show that it's locally grown compared to, let's say, these smuggled imported products. Then touching the industrialized processing and its advantages. With the industrialized processing, we see that customers can have more control of the quality of the process and the products. You get, because it's an inline process, you have fixed process steps, fixed processing times, which you can keep always the same. You can control your hygiene and your food safety much better, and you can also control the temperature much better to reduce the risks of bacterial growth. For example, from the start of getting the live birds into your factory up until they are chilled, it's a controlled time, and with fast chilling times to reduce the risks and increase the food safety. What is also what we see also with the younger generation is the upcoming of the software, the apps, and so forth. So with industrialized processing and the data you can recover, you can also get a feedback loop into your process, which you so you're able to improve your process and also learn from it by just weighing and counting within the process, having yield checks, and software, of course, to support this. With industrialized processing, it's also easier to train people, because the let's say if you look at some semi-automated parts of the process, you can give people easier tasks to perform. You can reduce, of course, the production cost per bird. You can add value-added products, as mentioned before. You can also organize your byproducts like the feathers, the blood, the rest offals to be, let's say, hygienically organized, and even maybe cooked by using rendering solutions. You can optimize your logistics, and you can also make it scalable for growth. If you look at the Netherlands, for example, the early in the also some time ago, it also started with small let's say industrialized plants, with starting with approximately between 1,000 and 3,000 birds per hour, and those same plants have now grown to above 12,000 birds per hour within, let's say, 20 years. And I believe this progress can within countries within sub-Saharan Africa like Nigeria, I think that this growth path can be quite quick if it picks up, especially looking if the growth of the population. Then if I still have some time, Roel, I would like to Oh, I cannot hear you.
Please. Well, I'm sorry, I was muted a bit, but please, well, I think you could finish almost. Yeah?
Yeah, then then I would just like to do some more detail about the process of industrial processing to get a more in-depth. It starts with the live bird supply. I don't know if everybody already has a good understanding of this mechanized process, so I will do a short, let's say, a short in-depth introduction, as it starts with live bird supply, where birds come into crates where they have been catched at the farm, and from these crates can be weighed in the plant to see what gets into your process. Then from the crates they are hung onto an inline overhead conveyor. And from this inline overhead conveyor that has a constant speed, we can control the process times. And that starts by stunning of the birds, then followed by the killing, which is can be done according to halal or can also be automated. Then the bleeding. Then it's about scalding to loosen the feathers. Then it starts with defeathering. Then the evisceration, where the giblets are taken out, and they can also be harvested to be sold as a product. Then it goes into the chilling, and after chilling, you will have the whole bird as a carcass to be processed further, and then it can be weighed to be graded into different weight categories to be sold in different weight categories. Of course, then it can be cut up, deboning, portioning. You can go into marination. You can go, of course, into further processing like breading it for KFC-like products, and yeah, and then of course into the either to be sold as a fresh product, or it can go into a blast freezer to be sold as a frozen product. These processes can, if we look at industrial.
Michael, sorry that I interrupt you. Please, can you finish? I have also a series of questions for you later. So.
Okay. Yeah, then just one thing, looking at our experience, let's say industrialized mechanized processing starts with around 500 to 1,000 birds per hour to be cost effective. And under that capacity, we see most of the time that it is more a manual process. But after that start form, it can be grown to what I said, above 12,000. And that's, thank you very much. Short, that's the wrap up. And of course, if questions come, you can always reach me.
Okay, thank you very much, Marco, for your contribution. Of course, a little bit over time, but I have also 2 questions for you. And well, I hope you can answer them quickly. Otherwise, we can do it afterwards in another way. One of the questions is automation, no doubt, increases efficiency. However, in the northern Nigeria, it's seemingly difficult for us here because most farms are small and hold farms less than 2,000 and cannot afford these machines. Can you give a short comment on that?
Yes, yes. What one of the recommendations also from the PwC report, and what we also see, of course, in other countries, is that with clusters of farming, they can invest in a centralized processing plant. So by working together, small-scale farmers can, as a cooperative, can use this way of processing. And what I said is starting with around 500 to 1,000 birds per hour as a start. That can, of course, able to scale up for the future. Does it answer the question?
Well, I hope so. I have not seen any feedback. I will continue with the next one. Maybe it's for you, but maybe also for some of the others to comment. But it is about compatibility of softwares. Is the software you are using for machine control on distance or whatever, is that compatible with major accounting software, or let's say the Dynamics 365, Sun System, SAP, whatever? Is that compatible with that type of software?
Yes. Our the software to let's say to control and do the reporting within the poultry processing solution, it can be integrated with all these main software suppliers, which do more like the enterprise resource systems like SAP and all those other. But also it can be simple exports to Excel, for example, to be used as integration.
Okay, well then I have, before I go back to the nutrition, for Nicoletta, one question, and it says, well, it's amazingly that you, in one of your slides, you showed that there is an improved just-in-time hatching according to flight schedules. How are you managing that?
Well, answering to this question, it is quite simple. This is not a huge miracle. We set the eggs according to the flight schedules, and we make a very exact calculation when the truck will have to leave to the airport, and how much time is needed for the preparation of the chicks, including vaccination, counting everything, packaging. And we hatch the chicks at the latest possible moment We don't store them during a certain time in our hatchery, for example, before departure.
Okay, thank you. Well, then one question to Tro Nutrition. Can one get a high quality feed concentration or additive? If yes, how do I get it? So that's maybe simple to answer.
If the person is based in Nigeria, we advise the person to make contact with us or with our nearest distributor. We sell to big integrator and also to distributors. We don't retail from the office, but the person can get across to us. We locate where the person is and direct the person to the nearest distributors to the person. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, one question, but I think it's we have to finish our meeting. But that has to do. The question has to do with the impact of attacks on farmers and then causing shortage of maize or whatever. Well, ingredients for the poultry feed. I think some of you have already answered that in saying, well, we are going to more locally produced other feed ingredients, but maybe a very short comment from the nutritionist in this or this panel.
Yes, like what you mentioned, what is locally available products. That is one. And especially we have to compromise when there is no imported items.
Okay. Well, I think there are no more questions on this moment. So I think we are a little bit over time. So I propose to close it. And I think, well, we have learned a lot that our industry is very flexible and to accommodate to the current situation. In time hatching is there, all the learning on distance and everything is in a better shape than it was before the current pandemic situation. The use of local materials, which is always has been supported in the world, is one of the good things also coming from. I especially was impressed by the slides of Dr. Raj showing that more time for the family and doing my job also is very positive in this part of this time. Well, I personally, and I will close for me. Thank you all for your time and for your presentations, also for the assistance from the VNU. And I look forward to meet physical again because, poultry, it's not famous for their smell and all these things, but I think I missed that. Well, thank you all. And now I give the final word to Senya for closing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Roel. The only thing remains to me is, of course, to thank everyone for contribution today. So thank you very much to all the speakers for your presentations and your views and insights on this topic. Thank you, Roel, of course, for moderating and hosting this event. To Diana for bringing this all together, to mobilizing and to bring it to life. Great job. And of course, foremost, the biggest thank to all of the attendees that they took the time to join us today, to listen, to hopefully get inspired and learn a few things. I really hope to see you next time. In the meantime, of course, feel free to register, sign up for our newsletters, for our social media channels, wherever you will find more information about our activities, and hopefully see you again in the near future.